Keely Hodgkinson has pulled out of this week's Diamond League meeting in Zurich, and with her withdrawal, the biggest race of the week has lost its headline name. The Olympic 800 meters champion announced the news herself, explaining that her body simply wasn't ready to race again so soon after the European Championships, and that she and her team had decided to step back from Zurich and focus on preparing for her next race instead. She said she was sad to miss it, but hopeful for next year. Those words were calm, but for anyone following track this season, they hit hard. This race was supposed to be the showdown everyone had been waiting for. Here's the context. Zurich is the second-to-last stop on this year's Diamond League calendar, and the women's 800 meters field was shaping up to be one of the strongest of the year. Hodgkinson was set to face off against the very best in the world, and that's exactly how she wanted it. At the top of that list was Switzerland's Audrey Werro, who has been the runner to beat all summer. She went unbeaten through the entire outdoor season, and just weeks ago she claimed the European title in Birmingham in dramatic fashion, clocking 1 minute 54.81 and breaking a championship record that had stood since 1982. Hodgkinson pushed her the whole way, finishing second in 1 minute 55.01. The gap between them was just 0.2 of a second. That's how close these two athletes are right now. That silver medal still stung for Hodgkinson. As the reigning Olympic champion, she's used to standing on top of the podium, and in Birmingham, she gave everything she had, only to fall short by the smallest of margins. A record that had lasted more than 40 years finally fell that night, and it was Werro, not her, who broke it. A loss like that only fuels the desire for a rematch, which is exactly why the Zurich showdown felt so significant. Fans had circled the date. They wanted round 2. Now, that plan is on hold. Hodgkinson wasn't the only big name expected to line up. The field also included her training partner and fellow Brit, Georgia Hunter-Bell, who's been in excellent form and recently claimed the 1,500 meters title in Birmingham. Broeders-Bol, the European 800-meter bronze medalist and world champion in the 400-meter hurdles, has also moved up to the 2-lap event this year and was set to compete. And then there was Kenya's Lilian Odira, the reigning world champion at 800 meters, who beat both Hodgkinson and Hunter-Bell to gold on the world stage last year. On paper, this was shaping up to be one of the best races of the season. But then the field took a second hit. Odira also withdrew earlier this week, citing medical advice. So now 2 of the biggest names in the event are out, and what started as a 5-way battle has become a 4-woman race. That's a real blow for the meet. Zurich is one of the crown jewel events of the Diamond League season, and organizers spend months building fields like this, aiming to bring together the very best athletes in the world. When 2 major stars drop out in the same week, some of that shine fades. The race will still happen, the clock will still run, but the story fans were hoping for has changed. Going back to Hodgkinson's explanation, her recent history makes her caution understandable. The last 2 years have been tough on her. She battled a hamstring injury throughout last season, and then in June she suffered a freak knee injury. That's a lot for any athlete to deal with, and much of last season slipped away from her as a result. Every time she seemed to be approaching full fitness, another setback appeared, which is a difficult thing for any elite athlete in their prime to manage. Through all of it, she's leaned heavily on her coaching team, Trevor Painter and his wife, Jenny Meadows, who have helped guide her back step by step. That work paid off this summer. Back in mid-July, Hodgkinson won the 800 meters at the London Diamond League, and afterward, she said she was feeling noticeably better than before, a clear sign that she was climbing back toward her best form. That's part of why Zurich mattered so much to her. She wasn't looking for an easy race. She wanted the toughest test available. Speaking in Birmingham earlier this month, she made her mindset clear, saying she'd signed up for Zurich specifically because she knew all her rivals would be there, and that competing against the best brings out her best. She's talked before about how a race is only truly exciting when the field is complete and nobody knows how it will end, rather than one athlete simply running alone at the front. That's the mentality of a true champion. She wants pressure. She wants real competition. So while pulling out wasn't an easy decision, it was clearly the smart one. Hodgkinson also seems to understand the bigger picture, noting that this current generation of 800m runners is something special and hoping fans get to appreciate just how rare that level of competition is. Her rivals share that sentiment. Hunter-Bell has spoken about how much she enjoys these head-to-head battles, and how she hopes there are many more of them in the coming years, races where the outcome genuinely isn't clear until the very end. So this isn't the end of the rivalry, just a pause. Werro, Hodgkinson, Bell, and the rest of this talented group will meet again, and each race between them should be a genuine battle. The good news is that Hodgkinson's season isn't over. She's expected to compete at the Diamond League final, which takes place in Brussels over 2 days on September 4th and 5th, the biggest event on the entire circuit calendar. A strong performance there would be a great way to close out her year. Rather than push a tired body through Zurich, it seems she's choosing to save herself for that bigger stage. It's a patient, long-term approach, and given everything she's been through physically, it makes a lot of sense. As for Zurich itself, the 800 meters will go on without her, but the field remains full of talent. Werro will enter as the clear favorite, unbeaten and full of confidence after a summer where every race has ended in victory. That kind of winning streak builds real belief, and she now carries the target on her back, seemingly comfortable with the pressure that comes with it. Bell, meanwhile, will be looking to prove she belongs among the very best. There's still a compelling race to watch, but the marquee clash fans were hoping for will have to wait. That's simply the nature of this sport. Health comes first, and you can't perform at your best on a body that isn't ready. Hodgkinson understands that better than most after 2 difficult years, so for now she steps back, rests, and resets, trusting that the biggest battles are still ahead of her. When she's fully fit again, this event changes completely. She's the Olympic champion for a reason, with the speed, strength, and finishing power to beat anyone in the world. Werro may own the summer of 2026, but Hodgkinson will want the final say. That rematch is coming, whether in Brussels or sometime next season, and when these two eventually meet again at full strength, it will be must-watch television. Just 0.2 of a second separated them in Birmingham. The next chapter between them could be even closer. For now, though, the wait continues. Zurich has lost its headline act, and the women's 800 meters has lost its dream final this time around. But make no mistake, that rivalry is coming, and the entire track world will be watching when it finally arrives.